episode of Gallifrey Pirate Radio, where we're going to do something a little different that we haven't done yet, but everybody else is doing it, so we figured we were going to jump on the bandwagon and be like the cool kids. And to explain what we're doing tonight, but before we get to there, I am your host, Davey Beauchamp, like you did not already know, and this is my...
I am his Drew Meyer, apparently.
Yes, he is my Drew Meyer.
I don't know, we're still doing the introductions almost 3 years into the show.
You never know who's going to start watching.
It's true.
Yep.
It's true. Okay, so about a month or so ago, IO9, the website, posted the all 241 Doctor Who stories ranked from best to worst. And they did it as a definitive, which is the best story, to which is the worst story. We're not going to tell you what they selected. You can find that out on their website. Shortly thereafter, in response to that, Liz Miles from the Verity podcast created her own list. It's fun to read. Don't read it out loud, especially if you're around children. But she also ranked her top 241 stories, what she thought was the best to worst. Now, they set theirs not so much as opinion, but what they felt was, in their opinion, was the best to worst. But that's not what we're doing.
Yeah, no, it's impossible. I mean, everybody has an opinion about what is their favorites or definitively what they think is the best. The only way to truly get, especially nowadays, a true scope of what is the best to what is the worst with Doctor Who episodes is if you actually poll the entire world, because Doctor Who is now a worldwide phenomenon. That is not what we're doing here. We are doing, and we're being honest about what we're doing. These are our favorite episodes ranked, and we're just doing NuWHO this time. Not all of NuWHO this time. We're going to break it down into separate episodes, and then we'll go back and do classic Who as well. But this is how we ranked our favorites, and we're being honest about it. They are, our favorites and our least favorites and stuff like that. Now, we did something a little different here.
And by me, he means Davey did something different for what I'm doing, not us doing something from everybody else. We're making it complicated even just that one step further.
Exactly. I broke it down to episodes, including the Children in Need stuff that were actually new episodes. New stories, no episodes. But I did not include like the Blue Peter and stuff like that. Just the stuff that is officially, supposedly, in the story timeline of NuWHO. Mm-hmm. While you did something different.
I went with story number. So there are, at the time of the original list, 241 Doctor Who stories.
Yeah.
We're going basically from Unearthly Child as a block all the way up to Day of the Doctor. Now, since we're just doing the NuWHO, we're basically going from Rose to Day of the Doctor.
Right.
Because we still have another week by the time this comes out before Time of the Doctor shows up. So that might very well appear in our lists for the future.
I mean, I have a feeling I already know where that's going to be ranked. But because I haven't seen it, I'm not putting it on here.
So what this means is Davey has 108 episodes that he's going to rank, and I only have 85 because I'm doing complete stories. Some of them are 2-part stories, some of them are even 3-part stories. Yep. I'm counting it, and they have a code number for it. So what it means is we can't do our lists side by side. So what we're going to do, and this is trying to be as clever as possible, we are now going to go over our bottom 28 stories. All right?
Yes.
Compare and contrast, say a little about it. We're not going to go over a full review of them because we just don't have that kind of time.
No.
The next episode, which will air whenever it airs, will be 23 episodes for Davey.
Yeah.
Then we'll go over again, starting with our next 50. I think it's 57 to 29, and then we'll finish up with our top 28. Now, before we get started, I just want to say this. There is such a thing as bad Doctor Who, but not much of it. IO9 posted classic episodes, excellent episodes, good episodes, not so good episodes, and just terrible disasters of episodes. If we did it that way, there's only a few in the latter category. Most of them, for me, are good, excellent, or classics. I just, we love them,
Yeah.
So if one of your favorites happens to show up in our bottom 28, it's not necessarily saying we think it's a bad episode. We just think that there are 60 or more episodes that are better than that, because it's that good of a show. Okay, Davey, Start us off.
Well, okay, to be honest, if it's anywhere in my bottom 10, it's a bad episode. I'm going to be honest with you. It is a bad episode.
But keep in mind, he's going episodes and I'm going stories.
Yes.
So some of my bottom ones will include multiple storylines,
Yeah.
sometimes even triple storylines.
Yes. So I will start us off. Evolution of the Daleks.
Okay, and that's for you,
That's number 108. That is the bottom.
Okay, so that being said, what's number 107 for you?
That would be Daleks Take Manhattan.
Okay, and the reason I asked David to do both of them is because my very bottom story that has ever existed in NuWHO is the Daleks in Manhattan and Evolution of the Daleks, the two of those together.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this right now. I don't like the Daleks. If there very rarely is there a story that I like with the Daleks, and this one is horrible. I wish it was better.
I can't say anything good about this episode. These two episodes. I can't. There's nothing I can say good about them.
Let's put it this way. For us, in order to like an episode, a couple of things. It has to bring us pleasure. We have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We would want to recommend it to somebody else. We would probably want to watch it more than once. Because even if it's a terrible episode, you soldier through and you watch it because you're a fan.
Yeah. Or entertaining.
Entertaining.
I want it to be entertaining, but...
This is neither my favorite. Would I ever recommend it for a friend?
No.
I tried to watch these two not too long ago just to go, it can't possibly be as bad. Helen Rayner wrote these scripts. She also wrote several other ones. This one is it's not good.
It's terrible.
I just don't know who to blame for this one. I'm sure someone out there, it's your favorite. We apologize for your lack of bad taste. All right.
Okay.
So, what's your next one?
106 is The Last Day.
The Last Day.
Yeah, that was one of the new minisodes that was celebrating the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. That was supposed to be a tie-in to
The Day of the Doctor.
Day of the Doctor, and it was just abysmally bad. It was just bad all the way around. And I still can't believe at first they actually charged people in England to pay to watch this episode.
Now, in iTunes' defense, I'm pretty sure that was a mistake, and because if
it only happened in Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I blame everything on it. It is atrociously bad.
If I were doing mini episodes like you, this would also be down there.
Yeah.
And I don't even think we reviewed this one because it's basically a first-person shooter.
It's too short.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely nothing.
It has nothing really to do with the plot. It's just a glimpse into Gallifrey's army.
And the Time War, maybe? I don't know. It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, so it's not good. So my second one on this list here, which would be number 84 for me, is Nightmare in Silver, which is the Neil Gaiman episode from Series 7. Now, I was actually surprised when I put this one as second to last, but because I've recently started showing these episodes to friends, and I found myself skipping it several times. I'm just not a fan of it. There are certain parts of it I certainly like, but as a whole, it doesn't interest me to watch it again anytime soon. I'm done.
I'm not going to say anything.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Because, trust me, it's down here.
I got you.
My next one, The End of Time. Oh, bad. Absolutely terrible. The only reason why there were 3 below this was the last 15 minutes of the episode when Russell Davies is saying goodbye to his tenure on Doctor Who. That's the only saving grace for this, and that's why it's not at the end, because there's at least 15 minutes I enjoy watching of this episode.
Number 83, The End of Time. I have seen this several times, and every time I see it, it pains me, but I can get through it. It's not that I want to. There are moments. There are actually some quite beautiful moments. The problem is it's such a disjointed story, and that with the exception of the ending, which I think has been... There's a couple of things. End of Time would have maybe been my very last, except with the Day of the Doctor, I feel that it has become a part of something larger and isn't totally just... You want to kind of write it off and ignore it completely. So yeah, I agree. What do you got next?
I have actually 104, 103. There were a few that do go side by side, like he was saying, the two stories. But I mean, later on, I do break them up quite a bit. But it's The Rise of the Cybermen and Age of Steel.
Okay.
I hated what they did with Cybermen. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. Did not like anything about it. My only hope with this story was that we were going to get E-Space back, which we still not got any E-Space back yet. So yeah, I hate these two stories.
And we'll go over my feelings of that eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe not today, but eventually.
Yes.
My next one, number 82, is episode 228 from Series 7, A Town Called Mercy. I was really looking forward to this episode. I liked the gunfighters. I was very excited to see Doctor Who in a Western setting. However, this was terrible. It felt like a bad, not a good, but a bad episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. The one interesting character, Ben Browder's character, who played Crichton on Farscape, died too early, so I kind of lost interest. Meanwhile, the robot cyborg, who looked like Crichton from Red Dwarf, was just running amok. And it did nothing for me. Absolutely nothing.
It was a messy story.
Yeah, and it was a shame too because it's Toby Whithouse, and I was really looking forward to it.
Oh, was it really?
It was.
I didn't realize that.
All right, which one you got next?
Okay, another two pairing, which is actually a 3-part story. Like I said, I do break them up. Last of the Time Lords and The Sounds of Drums. Didn't like those two things, and I think it really boils down to Martha's family and the Hobbit / Yoda doctor. I did not like. I hated that. They had built up this wonderful story, and the episode that precedes it, Utopia, I loved it. And it's the same thing that I see happen time and time again with Davey's run. He starts strong, and then he just drops the ball. And I really think and he became Deus Ex Machina again. Just lots of things that bothered me because he built up this entire thing with Saxon, which I thought was great. I mean, all this wonderful stuff, and he just dropped the ball, and it was pretty abysmal in those 2 episodes.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you, but I have one that I like even less than that, which is Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, Davey's birthday movie. Here's the thing. It could have been a lot more, and it wasn't. See our earlier review of that one, but no.
I think that's one of the few that we agreed on that was just absolutely terrible that season.
Yeah, not a big fan. Yeah. And I think with the problem with that one, kind of like Neil Gaiman's Nightmare in Silver, is our expectations were too high for it. I think over time, when I redo this list, in a couple of years from now, that one will probably move slightly higher, but not by much.
Okay, what do you got next?
Next one I have is the Christmas special, episode 225, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. I didn't care for it. It's not a bad episode. All right, we're now moving into the ones where I'm like, I don't hate them. I just don't care. Mm-hmm. There were some really fun parts right at the very beginning, but it's a fairly inconsequential romp. But it didn't push any of the buttons.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, one we've talked about already is Nightmare in Silver.
Nightmare in Silver.
I hated it. There was a few things I did like about it, but I hated the instant upgrade on the Cybermen. It really bothered me because it made me feel like they've turned the Cybermen into pure robots when they're actually supposed to be cyborgs. Mm-hmm. It really bothered me. I did like Matt Smith playing against himself, but for the most part...
And I think we can both be in agreement the worst part of this story was the children, but... Or did you like the children?
Well, I mean, they were not consequential to me. Okay. They were just there. They were set dressing.
All right. Next up for me, for number 7 on my list, episode number 205, The Victory of the Daleks.
Interesting.
Now, here's the thing. I really like the first half of this episode. I don't like the last half of the episode. I feel like they try to force a lot of stuff into it. Now, this is even though it's low on my list, I don't hate this episode. Yeah. I'm okay with it. This is Mark Gatiss' script. I think this is probably the least of his scripts. I think there's some really, really good ideas that I wish had been used in 2 different scripts. I'm okay with the love conquers all, but it was too much going on, not enough time.
Well, interesting thing is that was originally written for Tennant, and it was one of the earlier scripts that they actually filmed with Smith. Because that's the one where we got the first bit of leaked him saying anything,
right? And
it was horrible. I mean, the recording was horrible, but yeah, that's interesting that it's that low on your list.
Yeah,
nothing worth it. I'm at 99 now. The Angels Take Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so bad. And actually, I think there's some good stuff to that episode, but I think the thing that ruined it for me, Statue of Liberty. It's impossible. There is no way people were not seeing the Statue of Liberty. And then if they did see it, it freezes in the middle of downtown Manhattan. No, I'm sorry. Horrible. And I think it's funny that the 2 episodes that have Manhattan in the title are my bottom thing. Never use the word Manhattan in your title in Doctor Who. It's going to be a bad episode.
To go a little further on this, and we'll talk about this when we get to classic episodes, there is one more Doctor Who episode that involves Manhattan, and that's the latter part of the middle part of the chase with the Daleks. That one is also not a very good episode, so, keep Manhattan out of there.
Yes.
Number 78 for me, episode 193, The Doctor's Daughter. It has some interesting concepts, but I find it to be a relatively boring episode, and I feel like Martha being in there is kind of a waste, and again, we're not in the episodes I dislike anymore. We're at the episodes where I'm just kind of like, meh. If I watch them again, that's fine, but I'm probably not going to go out of my way to do so unless something that happens in future Doctor Who episodes makes me go, ooh, I should go back and check that out.
Yeah, we're still in the stuff that I don't like, that I don't watch, unless I absolutely have to for a review, which we still have to review quite a few of these, so I will be rewatching them for that. So I'm at number 98. Has an amazing title. I think one of the best titles we've had in Doctor Who, but I think it's one of the absolutely worst episodes.
Can I try to guess?
Yes.
Let's Kill Hitler.
Exactly. There are things about that episode I like, but there's not enough. I think Moffat was being sloppy with this, because he's such, and this goes to me, talking about how brilliant Moffat is story-wise, is he's good about dropping hints and building these rich histories for these characters, but to just drop Mel's on us out of the blue with no prior acknowledgement, that was a big thing with me, and just I think it's a letdown. I think for me the title was so amazing, so why hasn't anybody ever used this title before? It didn't live up to the title.
Very few episodes that contain River Song are gonna show up at the bottom of my list. Mainly because I love that character, though there is an exception to that one. My next one is an episode that Davey and I had quite a bit to talk about over the last couple of days, because neither one of us could remember what it was about, and that is an episode called 42. So 42 comes in on number 77 on my list. It's a fun episode. It is actually really quite, once I read their synopsis, I went, oh right, that one. It's okay. It's okay. If we were in a ranking from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, it's a solid 5. Maybe even a 5.5. It's not a bad episode, it's just not one of my favorites.
Okay, next one for me, at number 97, is New Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I got bored with them rehashing everything. It did nothing for me whatsoever. And I don't think Tennant was the Doctor yet. It's just a meh episode.
Interestingly enough, for me, coming in at number 76, New Earth. Yeah, I gotta say, I don't find that to be a particularly interesting episode. So,
again, at number 96, A Town Called Mercy. And I think, we said everything we need to say in that short little thing that we talked about. Yeah, it had potential. It didn't happen. It happens.
All right. Mm-hmm. Coming in at number 75 for me, The Lazarus Experiment. It's not a bad episode. Again, Mark Gatiss he's there. He's fine. It's a kind of was a classic sci-fi kind of story. It's good. It's good, but it's not great.
Yeah. Next coming for me is another one of the minisodes, Upon's Life. I just didn't buy it. There are so many issues in that. It started off strong, and then it looks like they're going to get a divorce. They're going to be separated. Didn't buy it at all. Did not buy it. It seemed fake. It didn't seem like Amy and Rory. So, but at least it's watchable.
Yeah, I think the Silent of the Daleks would be lesser without it, to give us a prep that there's trouble in paradise.
Yeah.
But I really would have liked to have seen more of a build up to that, or drop that storyline altogether.
Exactly.
But, yeah. Okay. Next up for me, The Rings of Akhaten. All right. So go back, watch it, listen to me rail for about 90 minutes on this episode.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I really straight up loved, top 30 episodes. The first half of that. I like the singing. I like a lot of the build up. I just don't like the resolution. In fact, the resolution is so sloppy for me that it ruined the entire episode. There's so many problems I have with it. Go back and watch it. I don't have time for it here.
For me, and these sort of go together, number 93 and 94. World War III and Aliens of London. Did not care for those 2 episodes. Did not like the Slovene at all. They work great on Sarah Jane. They work great in Boomtown. But in this 2-parter, I think the 2-parter could have been a 1-parter, and it might have been better. But yeah.
Interesting. We'll get to the Slovene in just a moment. For number 73 for me, The Long Game. This is which is a shame. This is an interesting one because we do have Adam as a companion, and we lose Adam as a companion. This is pretty much Adam's second story and last story. It's just, there's not a lot going for it. Simon Pegg is cool. I like to be able to try to say...
wait, did you say Long Game or Boomtown?
The Long Game.
Okay. For some reason, I heard Boomtown. Sorry.
No.
Okay.
What is it? The Holy Hadrajassic, Max Renfro. I had to call it Max. Again, good episode, not great episode.
Okay, number 92, Lazarus Experiment. Did not like it. You can sort of see a theme. I mean, we sync on a lot of these, but then again, we also vary greatly on a lot of these as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. For me, that's a... And, you know, I feel really bad for Martha season because there's a lot of, in my opinion, bad in Martha season.
Yeah, and it's rarely when Martha, like the first 4 or 5 Martha episodes are really good when they show Martha as being a smart and intelligent character, and when they kind of throw it aside, you'll start seeing them showing up. You'll see the bad Martha episodes certainly sooner on this list. For the next one for me, Aliens of London and World War III. Now, here's the thing. I don't hate the Slovene. I think they're actually a really interesting attempt at creating a new repeatable alien character. This is, again, a Keith Boak directed episode. There's a lot of farting involved with it. There's some goofy parts.
And I think that's what killed him for me.
I think that's safe to say. But also, at the same time, let's face it. Doctor Who, its first series, is trying to find its feet. It didn't have a lot going for it, except for the special effects. The special effects of the ship going through Big Ben and crashing in the Thames, I thought was really good. And I thought there was parts of it. I thought the introduction of, what's her name, whose name I've forgotten. Yes, we know who you are.
The Minister of Education?
The Prime Minister, who eventually becomes Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, Harriet Jones.
Yes.
I thought Harriet Jones was good. Again,
yeah,
good episode, not great episode. Solid 5-ish kind of thing, so.
Okay, my next one, number 91, The Long Game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 70 for me, which is episode 215, Curse of the Black Spot. Now, Davey and I like it for probably the same reasons. Amy dressed as a pirate. But aside from Amy dressed as a pirate, there's not a whole lot going on for this. And I was really excited for this episode because Lily Cole is in it, and I also very much like Lily Cole. And I don't think it's a bad episode. I just think it suffers...
What do you need then, Pirate Amy?
I need a story. Now, admittedly, as several of my friends have told me, this is a good story because it basically introduces space pirates to the Doctor Who universe. And yes, but that's just not enough to carry it because there are far better Doctor Who stories out there.
And these aren't the first space pirates in Doctor Who.
No,
I hate to tell you.
But they might be the most entertaining space pirates.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Space Pirates yet, so.
Okay. Sorry, number 90, The Beast Below. I think it had potential. There are some really cool things floating around in the background and stuff like that. But all in all, I mean, I love Liz. I love all the things in the background. But I don't know, it just didn't come together for me. And yeah, it just... Yeah, not one of my favorites. Not at all. I could skip that. That's one of the few episodes in that season. Actually, no, there are a few episodes in that season I could skip. This is one of them.
Coming at number 69, episode 220, Night Terrors. Another Mark Gatiss script. This is not a bad episode. It's just, it doesn't do a whole lot for me. The first time I watched it, I think was the best time I enjoyed it because I tried to scare myself. I watched it on a laptop. I turned off all the lights. It's really quiet in the house. I put on my earphones and it was night. It took place at night. It wasn't that terrifying. and the kind of conceit of, well, with the resolution of the story, we've seen it so many times, and I think done better. So, yeah.
Okay. This is actually going to be a joiner again. Number 90 and 89, or sorry, 89 and 88, The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. That, I think, easily could have been one episode. I think the only good part about this episode was the very end, because it moved the plot of the entire season along forward, with Rory being eaten by the crack.
Gotcha.
But yeah, beyond that, I was so excited about the Slovene coming back, not Slovene,
Silurians?
Silurians, and I think I was a little disappointed that we didn't get the classic Silurians back, especially since they actually redid the mask. They showed that in the Confidential, and I was just like, man, I think I might have liked this episode better if we had the classic. I understand, there are different types with the Sea Devils and stuff like that. It just adds to the entire mythos of the Silurians. But yeah, no, not my favorites. I can tolerate them, especially the second one, but yeah, no, not a huge fan.
All right, coming in number 68, episode 234, Watch His Face, Cold War. I was really excited to see the Return of the Ice Warriors. I saw the Return of the Ice Warriors. It was okay. I thought the directing was fantastic. But story-wise, again, it's a Gatus, and I'm actually really surprised when your games are coming up in this area, but don't worry, most of the rest of them are on the far end of the spectrum. It just didn't move me. Again, 6, I think, out of 10. I enjoyed it, but wasn't great.
Okay, number 87, Journey to the Center of the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why this is as high as it is on my list is that we did get to see some cool new interior shots. We got to see the library, but that's about it. Not a fan, but at least it had some stuff in there that entertained me, that made me a little excited. But yeah, for the most part, I thought the episode was horrid.
Okay, number 16.
I'm not scared to say if I dislike something.
No, of course not. Of course not. Coming in at 67, episode 217, story anyway, Rebel Flesh and the Almost People. This is our halfway point in series 6, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the gangers. I like the story. I just feel that it was interesting because I want to either A, see continuation of this story later on, maybe bring it back. It's, I think, a little higher up in my list because the fact that the ganger trick worked later in the episodes, later in the season, which I thought was a good use of a callback. I just think that it brought up too many questions that didn't get answered. I wish it wasn't a 2-parter, but it could not have been done successfully in a 1-parter.
Well, yeah, we saw the big question from that one. The doctor was saying that the ganger DNA, or for his doctor, the ganger doctor, was different, and he could actually survive that. So, and I don't think we're going to get that answer resolved in the Christmas special. Okay, for me, number 86, and I'm almost done with my list, because I've been joining stuff up. Christmas Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did not like that at all. Because, it was a regeneration. I wanted to see the Doctor, and I did not want to see Dr. Light episode. I didn't want to see them, flailing about, I think it had some good elements to it, but I think all in all, it fell flat for me. And it's a shame. It really was a shame.
Number 66, episode 230, The Angels Take Manhattan. Again, I will watch this episode again, only because it's Amy and Rory and River is in it. There's a good cast. The cast members play off of each other. I didn't like the story, and I'll be honest, I haven't really liked too many of the stories where the Weeping Angels have come back. It's a story of diminishing returns. All you really need to say about that. Do you want me to run down a couple more? Or
yeah, sure, because I only have 4 left.
Well, okay. I have quite a few because you did bump them together. So Hungry Earth and Cold Blooded is my next story for number 65. I think it's a fine episode. I think the first part of it actually is really good. I like the mystery of the Earth stealing people and strange creatures in the shadows. And I think the reveals of the Silurians was pretty cool. The second part of that story breaks down a little bit. It's not quite as good. and I don't know who to blame for that one, but I'm glad they brought Silurians back for this and in future episodes. Next up, number 64, Bad Wolf and the Parting of Ways. If I were doing this episode by episode rather than by story, Bad Wolf, basically the game show episode, would be much further on this list to the bottom. It would be probably like number 80 or something. I didn't like it, but The Parting of the Ways is actually a really good one. I really liked Series 1. I really like how it kind of bookends together, so that kind of balanced it out to put it to here. I'm going to go to the next one to 63, Christmas Invasion. For all the same reasons, I think that the interplay between, it is really just a story about Rose. I like the invasion. I like the Sycorax.
Yeah.
I don't hate this episode. It's just not one of my favorites. All right, what you got?
Okay, 85. And we're starting to get out of the ones I dislike. Father's Day.
Okay.
I could take it or leave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, number 62, Rose, the jumpstart of NuWHO. It's an okay story. I don't think the Autons were used to the best of their ability. I think the Nestine consciousness was kind of meh. I really like the reintroduction of the Doctor. I like the relationship with Rose and her family. And I liked the guy, the conspiracy theory nut, whose name I can't remember, who may or may not have gotten killed fairly early on. And I was okay with the burping rubbish bin. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay. Mine's a sort of a combination. 84 and 83, The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. Sorry, not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
For me, it's 178, The Runaway Bride, the introduction of Donna Noble. Donna in this one she just screeches a lot. If you had told me that Donna was coming back as a character immediately after watching this one, I don't think I would have been overly happy. I think the Sycorax looks beautiful via photo. Not sorry, Sycorax. The Rachnos, Queen of the Rachnos. I think she's awesome until you realize that she's not going to do much moving. And it's okay. It's an okay story. It's not great.
And then the last one I have on my list for number 82, Bad Wolf. Yeah, it's just a terrible episode.
Yeah.
I could watch it because it leads into Parting of the Ways. That's right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is a lead-in. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, take it or leave it. That's where we sort of are with where I'm on my list now. It's like take it or leave it. I really don't care.
Sure, and I'm kind of in the same, a little bit in the same way with that. And I'll just run down my list too. Also, we are going to be, at least I'm going to be writing these lists down and doing a little bit more detail of why I or did not like these episodes. Going with number 60 here, Boomtown, the secondary Slizine episode. This is we kind of ran out of money before our big finale, so we're just doing a kind of talky one. And it's not bad, actually. I think Eccleston, as an actor, can pull off the subdued, and there's some great play between he and the Slizine.
Yes.
I still can't say the name of the planet, but that's fine. But Boomtown is not a bad episode. It's just not a great one. Number 59, Planet of the Ood. It's a good episode. I like it. And it does a really good job creating an alien world. I feel like, I'm glad we revisit the Planet of the Ood in future episodes. 58, Planet of the Dead. This is the second installment of the specials with Matt Smith and Lady Christina. Again, it's not a bad episode. It's not a great episode. It's not bad.
I'll say the one thing I think the reason why sometimes it goes lower in the list, at least for me, was it's midnight all over again in a sense, and we had just had midnight.
Yeah, I can kind of see that, but midnight is such a superb episode.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like it's like he's revisiting.
Yeah. And then the last on my list for this one coming in is the Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. And that is the end of Series 2. And that is I liked Army of Ghosts. The ghost turning out to be Cybermen I thought was a cool reveal. But again, I don't like Daleks, and I think when you have Daleks and Cybermen on the screen together, there's too much going on.
My only problem is I want to see them fighting each other more.
Yes. And at that point in time, we really had only seen one Dalek episode, right? This is the Daleks are coming. No, they came back in the party ways. We'd seen two or three Dalek episodes. It's just more of the same. Oh, more Daleks escaped. They're not dead. Here they come. They're coming back.
But thank you, Stephen Moffat, for fixing that continuity error for us.
Yes. So there we go. There's our list. Our bottom 28 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Tune in next time where Davey is going to be going over 23 of his next episodes.
Yes.
And joining us for episode 3, we'll come back and kind of jump in with our last 57 or so.
Yes. So this is GPR signing off. And also, if you don't agree with us, if you disagree with us, let us know in the comments of our YouTube page, where there's a lot of activity, which I think is absolutely awesome with you guys. Or on our Facebook page, which is linked, I think, to most of the YouTube stuff. But yeah, we enjoy talking to you. We enjoy interacting with you guys that are watching us. I know I enjoy commenting on everything that happens on YouTube. So yeah, just let us know what you think of our list. They'll be posted both on our YouTube page and our Facebook page and on the website. So this is GPR signing off one more time. Until next time, peace.